That's what it's. Where'd you fly from? Canada?
It's about the same amount of
Have the center row.
Everyone
stand for the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Edinburgh Town Council meeting of Monday, August the 12th, 2024. Start off with the roll call. Mr. Bryant?
Here.
Mrs. Buck? Here. Mrs. Sweet? Here. Mr. Piercefield's not with us tonight. Yourself? Clerk Treasurer Rhonda Barrett? Town Attorney Dustin Huddleston. Okay. First off, we have the Town Council minutes, meeting of July 22nd, 24. Do we have any questions, thoughts?
There are no questions. I'll make a motion to approve the town council minutes of July 22nd.
Second.
Motion to approve the council minutes of July 22nd, 2024. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Next, we have claims up. Rhonda?
In your packet, there was one set of claims for tonight. The amount was $725,360.72. All claims have been reviewed and signed off.
No issues, no changes. Need a motion to approve the claims as presented.
Motion to approve the claims as presented.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Okay, next up on the agenda is the public hearing for the Parks and Recreation BOT project. Mr. Hubson.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. If you recall, council members, you approved to proceed to solicit bids for the BOT project for the Parks and Rec, to acquire the real estate and raise some buildings and for the parking lot. We solicited bids and got one bid back from a public-private agreement to GM Development Companies and LLC of Springport, Indiana. We advertised for this public hearing on July 11th. It was issued out July 11th, 2024, and it was published no later than July 16th. So we've had sufficient advertisement. So you have to open up for the public for any comments or questions. And then after that, you decide if you want to enter in that agreement with GM Development, which I would draft for your approval. So, got to open up the public hearing.
Okay, we're ready to open up the public hearing for the Parks and Rec BOT project that's just presented. Anybody have any, would like to speak for or against the project? Okay, we'll go ahead and close that hearing then for that project.
So we need a motion for this.
Yeah, motion to award the public-private agreement to GM Development Company subject to.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
And I would, since Mr. Piercefield is absent, I would authorize Vice President Works to sign such an agreement.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next up on the agenda is the contract award for the new town manager, Mr. Hubson.
Thank you. As circulated to you before, I have an employment agreement employing Mr. John Myers as the new town manager. Mr. Myers is in the audience today. His employment will start effective today, subject to completing all requirements of new employees, which is background checks and whatnot. And has a subject salary and performance review conducted on before the end of this year. Mr. Myers has reviewed and approved this agreement.
Anybody have any questions, discussion?
You just need a motion to approve the.
Correct.
Make a motion to approve the employment agreement for Mr. Tom Myers for the new town manager Redmond.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Welcome aboard, Mr. Myers.
Thank you.
Okay, next up on the agenda is the ordinance number 2024-14, amendment to the salary ordinance. This is a first reading. Mr. Hudson.
Thank you. The adjustment is to create a new position. That is, Ron, can you tell me which page it's on?
It's right here.
Page 2. Under the administration is Director of Economic Development. And it has a pay range that Ms. Barrett has corrected. So this would create a new position for the town as we've discussed before.
Questions? If not, we just need a motion to approve the ordinance. Oh, well, I'm sorry, this is just the first reading.
Waive the first reading.
So,
You have to first unanimously waive the first reading and you
okay.
I'll make a motion to waive the first reading.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so with the first reading waived, now we need a motion to go ahead and pass the ordinance 2024-14 as presented.
I would like to make a motion to pass 2024-14 ordinance as presented.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next up, we have resolution number 2024-19, 18, I'm sorry. No,
Yeah. Engaging in an auction, yeah.
I skipped a page. I apologize, it's stuck. I apologize. Resolution number 2024-18, resolution engaging the auctioneer. Dustin.
Thank you. If you recall in the past, when we've auctioned off items, we've used Gov Deals, and we've approved those in resolutions. This is for one item, the 2005 sewer vac truck, which Mr. Jesse, I think, requested at the last meeting to auction off. So this approves you using Gov Deals to auction off. If you remember, every time we used them, they've collected a lot more interest in purchase price than could do.
Motion to approve resolution 2024-19.
18.
18. 18.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Okay. So- Okay, now, let's go on. Resolution number 2024-19. This was the interest and purchase of real estate presented by Mr. Houston.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. If you recall, you solicited and got 2 appraisals for the property at 201 West Winnie Cross Street, which is 2 parcels owned by Johnson Memorial Hospital. The average of those parcels came in at $69,000, so this motion is to offer the hospital that amount to purchase that property.
Okay,
If they accept, then there will be an agreement put in place, a purchase agreement, which you would approve.
my question on that was, and Ryan's not here tonight, but I think we discussed the Sarah Beth or Dan. We had that discussion in reference to that building being removed from that while Johnson Memorial still owned the property. So where did you lead up to with that?
I reached out to Johnson Memorial and I have not heard back yet from them on that. So that was a couple weeks ago. I can reach out again. I don't know if, I asked if, the process was in place, if that building could still be removed, because obviously these appraisals weren't for the building, it was just for the property. And I even talked to the gentleman that was interested in taking the building, and he was gonna reach out to the hospital, and we got in touch today, and he hadn't heard anything back either.
You can make the offer subject to the removal of the building if that's something you really want to do, so that would be part of the offer.
I think it would be in our best interest, that way we wouldn't be responsible
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'd wait until.
That, yeah,
for the month. So, okay, so as Dustin stated, we can go ahead and approve this with, subject to Johnson Memorial's agreement to remove the building off the property. Any discussion or?
No. You guys okay? Make a motion to approve resolution 2024-19, subject to JMH removing the building on the property.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Okay, sir, then. There you go. Next, we have the first of two different tax abatements, resolution 2024-20 for the MA metal tax abatement. Julie?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution 2024-20. This is a resolution for the real property abatement that was discussed at the last town council meeting. So this resolution formalizes your approval of that tax abatement that was discussed previously.
Anybody have any questions? Like you said, we discussed it at the last meeting. Okay, need a motion to approve resolution number 2024-20.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2024-20.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. So, motion passed. Okay, the next one again, we
Yes, ma'am.
continue with 2024-21.
And this is the personal property or the equipment abatement for MA Metal.
Council?
Motion to approve resolution 2024-21.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign, no opposed.
And then the third item we have related to this is the abatement agreement that Mr. Huddleston has drafted. And this encapsulates all of the approvals and requirements for this abatement. So
Everything we've already discussed.
everything you've discussed and everything they have said they will be doing for this abatement.
Motion to approve the MA metal abatement agreement.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposed. Move on. Thanks, Julie.
On that, there's a couple of things that Ryan is supposed to sign. The statement of benefits for real estate improvement and the personal property, so do we need motions? That
Yeah, I
you're able to sign off on those since Ryan's not here, and also the memorandum agreement, sorry, I missed that.
That's the
It
last.
covers one motion, say motion authorize the Vice President Brooks to sign any and all documents regarding the MA metal tax abatements.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rhonda. Next up on the agenda is the lease agreement, rental lease agreement for the property at 203 South Walnut Street here in Edinburgh. Mr. Huddleston?
Thank you, council members, remember you authorized me to draft this lease agreement for the proposal that was submitted by Piercefield Contracting. Recall, this has been a long process where Mr. Piercefield individually expressed interest in leasing this property. So the first step was to disclose his obvious conflict of interest since he's the council president. That was reported to the state, required forms. Next was a solicitation of bids after that to anyone in the public who didn't receive any bids first. And that was the first round to, I believe, purchase the building or lease the entire building. Then we tried to do bids to solicit leasing part of the building. We only got one, and Mr. Piercefield actually wanted to lease all of it for the monthly price of $1,800 for 6 months. With that one bid that was submitted, you authorized me to approve this lease. Lease has been prepared, Mr. Piercefield has approved it, so it's subject for your review.
Any questions, council? We discussed it, like Dustin said, we went through meeting after meeting with this discussion, so.
Total rent payments will be $10,800, and also it's a damage deposit. Mr. Piercefield's company and him individually have to sign this. He has to carry insurance, as prescribed in this. Also, he's responsible for any repairs in the building. So
And I think that was
6
another
months.
reason that couldn't be separated, because the insurance wanted it,
Correct.
wanted it as a whole structure, so.
It's restricted to what he has said he was going to do, which is storing his equipment.
So I have one question.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 6 months. Is it like this contract every 6 months, or is he just doing it one time?
His contract ends in 6 months, so if he would want more time, he would have to ask you to actually solicit more bids. That can open public bid. So,
Okay,
only 6 months.
I apologize, any more discussion? Dustin, anything else? Need a motion to approve the 203 South Walnut Street rental lease agreement as presented.
Motion to approve 203 South Walnut rental lease agreement.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any approved, any nay? Okay, motion passes.
And then Miriam signs it.
Okay, Debbie.
Motion for, Miriam Brooks to sign the 203 South Walnut rental lease agreement.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Okay, next, Mr. Hollister, you're up again with the State Road 252 line relocation, Electricom construction agreement.
He's hiding there.
Mr. Clark. Yes.
If you recall, this was the agreement that Mr. Clark presented to us about the relocation of the lines. It's Electricom, which is the lowest bidder, drafted up the construction agreement. And Steve and April approved it.
Yes,
Okay.
they actually signed it and returned it, and I think Mary printed off a copy.
Okay, yeah, so it's ready for your review.
I did have one question I meant to ask you before the meeting, and I apologize. And this may sound petty, but the minutes from last meeting indicated that it was, okay, this amount was $759,521.15. The minutes indicated .57. This indicates the .15, so there's a 42-cent difference. Is that anything we should be, I know, like I said, it's a small amount, but the minutes indicated one change and then this
Probably
indicated.
just the number for error. I'd say we just typed it wrong, we can adjust the minutes.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure, so in other words, which are we're actually passing the 759,521.
Yeah, whatever the agreement says.
Okay. I was just double checking that. Like I said, I meant to ask before and so anybody else, so Dustin, all we are gonna do then, again, is
Approve the construction.
approve that agreement. Any other discussion on it? If not, I'll need a motion to approve, said agreement as presented.
I approve the construction agreement as presented.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Make a motion that Miriam sign the construction agreement.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Sorry about that, Rhonda, I didn't mean to, no worries. Okay. Next up is the, Mr. Huddleston again with the IDM NFA determination letter.
Thank you. This goes back to 2010. IDM worked with the town to address a Brownsfield issue within the town, and the cover letter that's in the packet, they've identified a scrivener's error. So they need us to correct the record that's identified in the letter about the instrument number, which is outlined in the letter. I reviewed it and approved the process on there. So you would just need a motion to approve, I think it's next. The environmental restrictive covenant that is attached to the letter, where they got that, and authorize Mary to sign.
Anybody have any questions?
No, so motion to approve the IDM NFA determination letter?
Right. And the affidavit that will correct the scrivener's error.
And the affidavit that will correct it, and then also to have Mary, can I do that in the same motion?
They will do it separate.
Okay, so I need a second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
And then attached to that was the environmental restrictive covenant, which was recorded again in 2010 incorrectly. So you need to approve that again.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Now you can make a motion about that.
Motion for Mary Wertz to sign the IDM NFA determination letter.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Next up is the Westler, oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Helpson, recommendation for demotion of deputy marshal.
Correct, that is going to be tabled today.
Okay, next item on the agenda is table. Okay, we'll move on to the Westler invoice number 44702, water treatment plant, Mrs. Barrett.
All right, there's an invoice from Western for the water treatment plant in the amount of $262.50. Needs approval, and it needs approval for Mary to sign.
Are we back on the last, is this about the last bill?
I hope so, Bill, where you at?
I don't believe so.
It should be.
At least you're honest.
200,000 has been somewhere.
It should be.
Now, I think they're just, that's a services plan issue, and there's just still gonna be a little more for a while. And then we'll enter into a contract with them for services needed later, but right now, I wasn't aware of this $200. That's not much.
Okay, we'll do it.
I make the motion to pay the Western invoice 44702 for water treatment plant.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And there is,
Make the motion for Miriam to sign the Western invoice 44702 for water treatment plant.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, moving on to the ERA 2023 annual report, Mrs. Barrett.
okay, at the last meeting that the ERA development, the developer authority had, they presented their annual report for the year of 2023. They did not employ any employees or pay any salaries or compensation, and they made no expenditures. And they just needed to file that with you guys, just to let you know that that's
It's just information.
just information, yeah.
Okay. Moving on next with Mrs. Barrett again, the Baker Tilly scope of work.
Okay, if you recall at the previous meeting, I've got approval to get a scope of work from Baker Tilly, and they provided that scope of work to analyze our rate structure for the wastewater. The last rate adjustment wastewater had was in 2015. It was in 2 phases, and the second phase went into effect in 2016, and there's also a scope of work to review the stormwater rates. Those were established in 2014 and have not been changed. So operational costs have increased substantially during this time, so this is just a scope of work to analyze rate structure to ensure that we can continue our utilities at the same quality of service that we've been providing.
Again, it's information.
It's to allow them to review our rates.
Right. You're letting us know that that's what they're.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what they're-
and it's $12,005 for each thing, so if you approve that, then we will employ them to analyze those rates.
Okay. So we do need to do,
It's
are
a
those
contract.
separate, or since they're two separate utilities, it's two separate. Okay. we'll need a motion to approve the rate study for the sewage works as presented.
Motion to approve the rate study for the sewage works as presented.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, continue on with the rate study by Baker Tilly for the stormwater utility.
Motion to approve the rate study stormwater utility.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up, we have Julie, yes, Julie?
One more
Did I skip
after those,
one?
we need to hear something, I'm sorry.
Oh, a
sorry.
motion for Miriam Rooks to sign the scope of work for the sewage and the utility. Rate studies.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Sorry, Julie, now you're up with the Meadow Lawn water utility bond release.
Thank you, ma'am. So Meadow Lawn has posted a cash bond 3 years ago for maintenance bonds of utility infrastructure that they installed. And so they have requested that those bonds be released. Our utility supervisors have checked that infrastructure and have approved for those bonds to be released. So I'm recommending that the council releases those and the clerk treasurer can refund that cash.
And each one is separate, correct, Julie? There's
It would
the
be
release for the
two
water
separate.
and then the release for the wastewater as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anybody have any questions or review on this? Okay, so first then we'll make a motion for the release for the water utility bond release for the Meadow Lawn water, or Meadow Lawn water utility bond release for the water.
Make a motion to release the Meadow Lawn water utility bond.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Do I sign, Rhonda? Anything on
There's nothing for her to sign.
Okay.
It's just, Rod will need to process that.
Okay, do they give me approval to pay, Justin? Or does this release give me that approval?
release provides that? Okay. Next, we'll have that same motion brought forward, need to be brought forward for the wastewater utility portion.
Make a motion to release the bond for the Meadow Lawn wastewater utility.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Julie. Okay, next we have Mr. Clark McCollum with the street department.
Yes, council, I want to request that Jake Cox is promoted to the assistant street superintendent of the town of Edinburgh. Jake brings 7 years of experience with NDOT, operator experience, just obtained a CDL, which is going to be a great fit, so.
Okay. Do I have any questions?
No.
Doesn't, this is just within, this is Mr. McCollum's recommendations. Okay, need a motion to approve Mr. McCollum's requests.
Motion to approve the request to promote Jacob Cox to assistant street superintendent.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Welcome aboard, sir, or welcome to your promotion. Okay. Next, we have the Ecosystem Connections Institute contract amendment request by Mr. Sweeten.
Council, thank you for a chance to come and verbally explain where we are, give you a verbal update, and then we'll kind of give you a background for why we're asking for this request. Currently, we have completed all the requirements for the Indiana Department of Natural Resources floodway permit, which is secured. We've completed all the background work and secured the IDM 401 permit for the removal. And we've completed all the background information and preparatory work for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers 404 permit. However, that's contingent on a historical archaeological approval of the information to be approved by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. So it's out of our purview. We've done all of our work, and James Heimlich is here. He's our archaeologist, and he can explain the details of that. if you would like to hear those. But I also want to mention that we've also completed all of our pre-removal surveys that include fish, mussels, bathymetric surveys, and drone surveys. So everything is complete. We will be selecting the contractor on August 23rd, and we are set to go forward, with the exception of this archaeological review approval and going through the process to get signed. That's the delay. And so what we're asking for is just simply amend that calendar that we had presented to you and push it back to the 31st of December to give us the latitude, because once we begin to push back the removal, that pushes everything else, all the reporting that we need to get done to get back to you. Now, I can, and I'd like to introduce James with that, unless you have questions for me regarding that information.
No, I read.
None? Okay, well, I just want to say, then James can come up.
I believe Mr. Huddleston will have a question.
So, Mr. Sweden, to make sure the request, so I'm looking at the contract, so it has complete all permits and complete all work by September 1st. Both of those you want to push back to December 31st.
Well, the reporting, see, so it's really that reporting that's in there as well. And I think if we're still anticipating the dam to come out just a little later, but that's going to push the contract dates for reporting, and we need to have a little more latitude on that end.
Okay, so that was my second question. So the post-removal written report was due November 1st, 2004. Do you want to change that to December 1st?
It was 2024, correct? Right, yeah, so we would like to push that back because to the end of the year.
Okay, try again. Right now, your deadline to get all permits is September 1st, 2024. Do you want to change that?
Yeah, because we don't think we're gonna have the 404 permit because of this lag in
What date do you want to change that to?
James, do you want to come up and he can give you maybe a more accurate?
It'll be very quick. So since our initial request for these adjustments to that timeline, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has submitted, and this council board should have received notification of the consulting parties letter, which is a 30-day period that is a government period that all consulting parties have 30 days to decide if they want to be part of this or not. And during that 30-day period, also the memorandum of agreement has also been sent. Up until August 8th, we did not know when that was going to be issued by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. So that has been issued. The clock has started. September 8th ends that 30-day period. I would anticipate by the end of September, but I don't know for certain when, the memorandum of agreement then would be signed for us to then have that last part for the Army Corps permit. So my anticipation would be the end of September, the beginning of October, we would have a permit by the Corps to then remove the dam.
So you will have the permit, you just will not have started, correct?
We cannot start until we have that permit. It's out of our hands.
You want it September 30th or the following week in October? I just need a date.
Sure, I totally understand. I'll leave that to.
Well, let's go, I want to go back into October.
Okay.
Just to give us a little buffer. October 15th.
Okay. Okay,
So, well, I hope you understand the complexity of this and how we simply didn't have, we completed all the components of the permitting that we had control of. This was just one.
Yep, I'm with you.
Okay.
So next would be the deadline to complete work. Right now, that's September 1st, 2024.
Correct.
Obviously, you can't meet that. When would you like that?
December 31st.
Okay.
Well, and that's to not only cover this, but also we're always dependent upon what the river gives us and what's safe working conditions. It's like this, and if you all could vote and all sign off that it will be like this for the rest of the year, we're good to go.
And then next, Mr. Sweeten, so we had the deadline to do, this is after you've done all the removal, and you had a post-removal written report as to the compliance of the work done. That deadline was November 1st, so if obviously you want to push that back, when would you?
December 31st.
one more. Submit a final report as to completion of the work and compliance, and that was December 31st as of now. Do you want to push that back or keep that the same?
I mean, we will have a final report to you, and that'll just sort of be just a summary of what's taken place. And a summary of those events. Now, having said that, we will still be doing some follow-up work next summer after the removal, and that will be for our own report to agencies. But for your purposes, we want, this report will be to verify that we've completed all the parts of our agreement and the dam is out and done in accordance to the contract that we had.
Okay, so you want to keep it December 31st or push the final report back to January something?
You can, so this is where I think as I understood the purposes of the contract, we can provide you a report about the removal of the dam. And we can then, after we do our own post-removal work, which really have no bearing on the contract, we can provide you that data too, once we get that final report. That will not be done until the end of 2025.
Okay.
That particular rest of that.
But as far, the final report I'm talking about is the one that says we've completed it, here's all the work we've done, we're done with the removal.
Yes, that's it, right, yeah, and that'd be December 31st.
Okay, keep that December.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, sorry. I've got everything changed on there. Anything else you wanted to modify in the agreement?
I can't,
Just the
hopefully
deadline.
not.
Okay,
So I am wanting to modify this, are you gonna redraw this?
yes, you have to do an amendment, so you would, if you're okay with that, we're changing, those deadlines, the permit completion period is to October 15th, it was September 1st. Completing the work, that was September 1st, now it's December 31st. And then both the post-removal written report and final report are due December 31st.
You need a motion for that?
I need a motion to authorize me to prepare an amendment, which I'd send to Mr. Sweeten, and then we can get that approved at the next meeting.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Now, do I have to sign anything on any of this tonight? No, because you got it. Okay.
Answer all your questions.
Yes, yes, I just want to make sure what was
Simply complicated.
breakdown.
Yes.
Okay, move on to other business. Start with Ms. Fair.
I wanted to ask the council, there's a software user group meeting in October that I would like to close the utility off just for today, so that all the ladies can attend and to get approval from you guys to close the office that day. It'd be closed to the public, but it'll be.
What day do we do it on?
Thursday,
On
it's
Thursday.
Thursday, October 24th.
Okay.
Why don't you put the notice out by?
And there'll be a notice on the door and it'll be posted on Facebook.
And we've done this in the past.
We've closed before for like in-house training, but I don't know. Maybe, it's been a few years we've closed for the entire day, but this, I think it would be a good time for everybody to go get some training.
I too am fine with it, that's what it takes to get the job done. Need a motion to approve this request for the closure in October for training?
Yes.
I make a motion to close the office on October 24th for training on software.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries. Okay.
I think that was it, that's all I had. Oh, no, one more. The workforce development training grant, we did get approved. We're gonna receive up to $25,000. Bob has 2 employees and Clark has 4 employees, so it varies on each position, but we are getting up to $5,000 per employee, so it's around between $20,000 and $25,000, so.
Congratulations, good.
It's good.
That's all I've got.
Mr. Bryant?
Good.
Okay, Mrs. Sweet? Mrs. Buck?
Don't have anything.
Okay. I don't have anything tonight, I'll move on. Although, Rhonda, there was this grant application in our packet.
Yeah, that's just a copy. That was a suggestion. We were written up because on our year-end reporting, I reported something wrong and failed to report another grant. And so this is an application that I will have each of the department heads fill out anytime they apply for a grant.
So this is what it's gonna look
Yeah.
like. and
Oh, that's
what
just-
you developed.
That's just a form for them to fill out.
Okay.
So.
Mr. Huddleston?
Nothing.
Okay. Moving on, we'll start with Chief Little.
Just an update, we're actually having trouble with a couple of our Durangos. We had 2 of our Durangos with the oil cooler issue that the entire state of Indiana is having trouble with, and I believe Indiana State Police have taken some legal action against Dodge. So one of ours actually finally completely died, so I don't know if it's gonna be a motor. It should be covered under warranty, but I've tried to have this conversation with Fletcher's about why I'm not interested in buying any more police cars from a Dodge product, just because of this, because literally this one part could cripple the entire department. I mean, this
It's
oil
not
cooler.
something that's covered under,
So they have not issued any recalls yet. They have sent out a technician alert, is what I've been told, to let them know of it. It's basically, and Mr. Brian probably knows a little bit more about cars than I do. It's an oil cooler that's in the motor. It's aluminum. When they heat up, they are cracking and blowing. And when that does, it mixes the oil and water together and could potentially blow motors. We have 2 of them now. Both of them went in for the repairs, but one of them is still having issues and now it's blowing oil everywhere. But I'm just giving you that heads up more for the next meeting, which is the budget meeting, of why I'm not interested in this Stellantis products, because they could very well cripple us by just not acknowledging that they have a problem they need to fix.
yeah.
You mentioned it before.
Yes, yes, but this one's more likely this motor's probably blown now. So, but it should be under warranty. We're just gonna lose a car for potentially 8 months.
Oh, wow.
It's 4 months to get it in to be looked at.
Is that's all through Fletcher, right?
That's pretty much every Dodge dealer. We might have worked something out with the Dodge dealer here in Columbus to try to look at it because of the amount of problems. I mean, this has been 8 months going on, that they can get it in sooner. That's not a Fletcher thing. It's a Dodge thing everywhere. When this blew, we actually took it all the way down, where's that at?
John Jones.
Which is in Gordon, Indiana is where we had to have it towed to, because they could get it in quicker, and that was still, we lost it for
2 months.
2 months.
Yeah, that's what I was alluding to.
So that's, it's not,
their delay,
that part is
it's-
not a Fletcher thing, it's just we've always bought our cars from Fletcher, and Mr. Fox reached out to me, and I just explained to him at this point, I'm not interested until you can fix the problem that you already got.
Yeah.
So other than that, that's it.
Okay.
Although the
Anything
supply
else?
has followed me all the way from outside to inside. You know exactly what I'm talking about, it's right here.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Lawler?
I had nothing tonight, thank you.
Let's see. Mr. Gibbs.
Hi.
Here we go.
You should have received a couple handouts there.
Uh-huh.
One I'd like to discuss, the first one I'd like to discuss is the equipment. I'd like approval to purchase 2 new rough mowers. They're not cheap, both of them combined $60,750. We have that in our budget, to cover that easily, and so we're going to go $78,000, so I'd like to get those ordered. Supposedly, they're ready to go, and ship them immediately.
You budgeted, actually, did you budget for these last year?
Yes.
That's what you were telling us you were going to. Anybody have any questions?
So you had budgeted for these last year and you're just now.
Right.
purchasing them.
And Lonnie, you said the money is there, needs to be.
It's all there.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions? Okay. Need a motion to approve Mr. Gibbs' request.
Make a motion to approve the request to purchase the 2024 Lastic W2400s.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Motion carries.
Business, we're still operating with 6 full-time employees. We've tried to do it with part-time, it's getting increasingly difficult to do that. To find someone on a seasonal basis. And I've got two good guys that I would really like to hire. We have the money to do it, that's in our operating funds, so it's not taxpayer money. We have the available funds to do so. And it would help us a lot.
Personally, I would like to see a little bit more information before I approve 2 full-time positions.
Wayne, I apologize. I thought that this was a continuation of the explanation.
Oh.
I didn't realize that
I
was
didn't either.
Sorry,
it was-
no problem.
like a double,
Right.
2 pages of the Mullers.
Right.
So I apologize.
No, no
So,
problem, no problem. What information would you like to see?
Well, I'd like
Right.
a list of the employees you currently have and what their positions are, and
Okay.
maybe how much overtime they've been working because you're short people.
Okay. I don't know that we're really getting a lot of overtime, we're just kind of maintaining the place without getting stuff done.
Or what's not getting done
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah.
Too many people.
We try to limit overtime.
could you have that for us at the next meeting?
Absolutely.
Is that okay with everyone else? Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
Very
sir.
good, thank you.
Okay, who's next? Daniel?
Daniel Syke.
We got our fall league going on, it's about to start, we just finished registration, teams are formed, so that's happening. There's a lot of planning that's been going on, fall festival is just around the corner. We got a unique opportunity this year with opening day being on 9/11, so we're doing some planning to where we can really open up the fall festival this year. Booths, I think we had to cut off booth rentals because we wanted to make sure we had some spots available for our prince and princess candidates. So we got waiting lists for booth spaces throughout, which is a great thing to have because we've had years where we've had gaps, so that's wonderful. 12 Days of Christmas, and Sarah Beth may get into more details about this, but we had a great meeting with the gentleman who's providing the ice rink for us, and there's a lot of great ideas floating around for the experience here in town.
You guys gonna have the staff, Daniel, go like shift after shift, aren't they, or so to speak?
Yeah, there's still some details with that we're working through. We're going to try to utilize groups throughout the community too to help with that. But we feel like we're going to be all right covering it. It's just going to be a bit of a process, but it'll be a good problem for us to figure out. But it will be. I mean, we're not obviously the size of Franklin, so we don't have the staff they have to pull from. But we're going to be creative in how we do it, and we're going to have a fun time with it. So.
Okay. So you are going to ask for volunteers?
Yeah, and if you want to, yeah, we will be putting it out there, obviously, for anyone who'd like to pretend. It'll be fun. I really think it would be enjoyable just to sit there and watch people attempt to ice skate. So
Yeah.
it'll be an enjoyable thing. When we were talking about how they broke down how people rented skates and how long they could stay on there, they said, well, you can do it give them an hour or something, but he said, no one's gonna stay on there an hour because it's hard to ice skate and people think they're going to, but usually the typical person's on there maybe 20, 30 minutes and then they're off and you can rent those skates out to another person. So it's gonna be neat. It's something completely new for our community, but it's gonna be a fun 12 days and we got a lot of exciting stuff coming up like Ford. So. Yeah, volunteers are welcome.
Sarah Beth, you want to continue?
Yeah, I'll just jump in on that. And thanks to Curtis, he's been really helpful with
Yes.
information and Franklin Parks and Rec has been wonderful to work with, and they've sent us all their information and have been really helpful answering questions. So yeah, we actually, at our last Holiday Lights meeting, we have set hours every evening for the ice skating rink, and we're really just gonna rely on trained staff for those hours. There will be opportunities for volunteers and different nonprofits to sell hot chocolate and cookies every evening that can go back to that nonprofit, so whether it's the Legion or Tri Kappa, Beta Sigma, Lions Club, those philanthropic groups in town. And we are also going to be offering up Rent the Rink. So every evening from 5 to 6, if there's you know, I can imagine a kid in elementary school whose birthday is in the middle of winter like mine is, and there's nothing to do outside. This would be a great opportunity for kids to have maybe birthday parties or families to just have a private party in the evening at the ice skating rink. So looking forward to that. We actually kicked things off at the end of July with Christmas in July trivia at the Hilton. We had 60 people buy tickets for that and participate, and it was just so much fun. And the Hilton donated the room for us to use. They went above and beyond, decorated everything to the nines for us for that. And they did a special menu that evening with like 6-ounce Santa sirloins, and it wasn't a sirloin made of Santa, but it was a steak sirloin called the Santa sirloin. And they normally have one table there for dinner, and it was at max capacity for them, so they were kind of running around with their heads cut off for a little bit. But it was a really great evening, and had a fun time. We do have the Fall Festival coming up, and I want to thank Marshall Mechanical. They are going to be the title sponsor this year for the Fall Festival. We've got a couple of really good bands, one from Madison, Indiana, and one from Indy, that are going to perform this year. 45 RPM and the Rumors are from Madison. We did sell out already. Kathy Ham has been instrumental in offering a day trip to the community in October to go to the Covered Bridge Festival. And we just put that out there, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, and I've already sold out all 50 spaces for that day bus trip. And we've already got people asking about what the spring trip is going to be. So we do have a waiting list going for that. And then Senior Moments has been really great already this summer. Last week we had Purdue Extension there, and they offered a decluttering class for our Senior Moments group. And then in September, actually Justin Lawler is going to be there and talk about the fire department, fire and rescue, and answer any questions and talk to the seniors about what they do and answer any questions that they have. And then, yeah, as Daniel said, we have been nonstop planning for the Holiday of Lights, and we've got everything planned from an ice sculptor from South Bend will be joining us for the Holiday of Lights to do a couple of demos and making games like cornhole out of ice. So that'll be really fun for families. We're kicking everything off with a cookie walk during the Holiday Bazaar. We've got a charcuterie class. We've got cookie decorating, bracelets, resin art classes. Melody Cox from Home Again is going to do a holiday flower arrangement class at the community center. So we've just got all kinds of activities and things planned. So be looking. It's on the website. Things are getting added on there now, and it's on social media. So just stay tuned, and we'll be sharing everything here shortly. Everything will be done by the Fall Festival, so that we have all that promotional material to go out then.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah Beth. You're gonna be busy.
Yes, and thank you this evening for approval of that. I appreciate it.
Good. Julie,
Do you have anything else tonight?
okay, Ms. Robertson?
The only thing I have is if you have any questions about the staff report that you were given. I will note that we've now had more permits this year than we had at any of the highest permitting years we've ever had. So we're probably on track to double the number of permits that we go through. So a lot of work getting done. And
I think I've asked this before, but the lawns that we file weed liens against them, right?
I'm sorry?
The lawns that we go out and mow, it says you had 4 that have been mowed twice by the town. Do we,
Yep.
we file those weed liens against them?